everyone, and welcome to our episode on backpack planning on JCPS Digital Learning Live. I am Jack Bosley with Digital Innovation. I'm so excited to be on this episode to help celebrate our remarkable educators in JCPS. I'm joined today by our JCPS Digital Innovation team. Beth Compton's here, Jim Unger, Stephen Durham, and Heather Worrell may be popping in and out as she is available. So today, Jim is going to be running the control room, and Bev will be taking questions on the YouTube live chat. Make sure you drop in there and let us know what school or district office you're from. If you don't have chat capability, make sure you log into YouTube. And while you're there, please click on the subscribe button so you can continue learning with us. Our featured presenters today are Stephen Howard, who is the principal at Johnsontown Road Elementary, and we've got three special guests today who are going to be joining us, Trey, Emma, and Isaiah, who are students at Johnsontown Road. Stephen, guys, I'm going to turn it over to you all now.
Okay, so the first thing I'd just like to say is that I'm just thrilled to be able to share the progress that Johnsontown Road is making as it relates to the Backpack of Success skills. So currently, our school has over 4,000 artifacts uploaded into students' backpacks. So when you look at our total student population, we have about 320 students. So that's over 12 artifacts per student. Now, our goal, one of the things you'll see when we start to present in our slideshow, our goal is to have 15 artifacts by February 20th, I believe. So, but when I say artifacts, I really want to say quality artifacts. So one of the things we're going to be talking about today is what are the measures that we're trying to put into place to ensure that all of the artifacts that we have are quality. So our student digital backpack team is going to present with me today, and they're going to talk about some of the work that they're doing as it relates to helping students self-assess the quality of those artifacts to determine if they're backpack worthy or possibly they need to be enhanced in some way or added to, or they need to be maybe removed or pulled out and until they can kind of meet that quality criteria. So I'm really excited about that. We're doing some really good work. And so I'll go ahead and start our slideshow and present our backpack plan, our fifth grade defense plan, and then I'll have a student who will present our fifth grade rubric that we're going to use for our fifth grade defenses. And then I'll have two students talk about the work they're doing as it relates to the rubrics that we're developing for students to assess the quality of those artifacts.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Stephen. That's really good stuff and impressive, too, about the numbers of artifacts. And I'm really glad that you guys are emphasizing the quality piece of that as well.
So the most important picture there, of course, is Trey, Emma, and Isaiah. Trey Doobie is a fifth grade student in Mr. Adams' class. Emma Stewart is a fifth grade student in Miss Curitan's class. And Isaiah is a fifth grade student in Miss Montgomery's class. So our digital backpack plan here at Johnsontown Road is just this. It's a specific plan that kind of started with today all the way to defenses. And we kind of list what is happening and kind of who is responsible. So as I kind of scroll through this plan, you can see that, we have dates that we want students to log into their digital backpacks this year, access their folder, opportunity to start to develop quality artifacts, and how many do we want to have on what particular dates. So we kind of have a plan that goes through the progress that we'd like to make and measures that we'd like to make along the way. So as you can see here, part of our plan is that we wanted to have 10 artifacts by December 10th, and we were able to meet that plan as we have over 4,000 artifacts currently. Now, by February 20th, we want to have 15 quality artifacts, and then by March 26th, we want to have 23 quality artifacts. So that's a lot of artifacts, and one of the things that we felt like we needed to do that we'll talk about more as this presentation goes on is figure out a way to allow students to be able to self-assess the quality of those artifacts. And what those rubrics will look like will be different for every grade group, meaning for kindergartners, it's going to look quite a bit different than it is for fifth grade.
Right.
Realize that's an important protocol for us.
Yeah, and Stephen, with that amount of artifacts, that's going to be fantastic for kids when they get into their defenses, and if they use the showcase feature to be able to really have a lot of choice to decide, oh, this is my best work for prepared and resilient learner or effective communicator, and have a lot of variety.
Yeah, and you'll see that when Isaiah presents our rubric for our fifth grade defense plan today, you will see that the rubric highlights for students to be able to talk about areas of strength, areas for improvement, and then an improvement plan. And it's all related to the success skills. And also, most importantly, it's related to progress, related to school success data, literacy and numeracy, and content, so that that's connected and it's not separate. So it's not a backpack artifact that isn't connected to progress related to reading and math, and or social studies and writing and science. So all of those things are important, and it has to be connected in terms of that school success data. So he'll talk about that. It's also linked to things like attendance and behavior, important school success data. So we're trying to strengthen that bond between the artifacts and also just academic progress and other school success data like attendance and behavior.
That's right, just a natural fit right into what's happening in the school day already.
Correct. So we'll start our fifth grade defenses not until, as you see, April 6th. And then that will be published, of course, on the district website for defenses, and we'll hopefully have many people that'll come out as we did last year to support us in serving on some of our panels. And then we'll have everything completed, and our secretary will enter those defenses into Infinite Campus. So as you look further on our plan, you can see that we have a more specific discussion on what needs to be accomplished and hasn't been completed, and if not, what are the next plans and what some notes might be. So we started this year off with really staff making sure they have a clear understanding of the backpack initiative, what it is, its purpose, what it means, how it relates to their teaching, and really what it means for the student learning experience. So we kind of started this process, and to me, it's a part of education and ownership, starting from the principal, but then filtering down to all the staff so that it's embraced completely by the school community. It can't be looked at as something that's separate. It has to be looked at as something that's just really a part of our school culture and a part of our school day. So we worked on that plan, and we also worked on students having a clear understanding of what that is, what the success skills are, what they need, and what kind of artifacts and what might be appropriate for defenses. So we set this up, and we kind of listed kind of opportunities along the way to talk about what we needed to look at and what we needed to monitor. We looked at 2 look-fors as we're working with our rubrics that students will assess the quality of their backpack artifacts. So there are links that students are using that are the deeper learning look-fors, which there is a link in our slide presentation for that here under item 4. And there is a lab link for our quality work protocol under student backpack worthy artifact descriptors. And then again, quality work protocol, under the next piece. So you'll see links in our presentation as we go through. We also wanted to make sure that staff knew how to, and students knew how to successfully link their academic successes, i.e. MAP scores, K-Prep scores, grades, to success skills. So that, again, it's not something separate, then it can always be listed under one of the success skills. And I believe that our students will give kind of some examples of those today for what they do well or might be areas of improvement.
Yeah, this is very impressive. And we will, just so the viewers know, we can add all of your links to the YouTube live to the JCPS Digital Learning channel later so that everybody can have access to these.
So I do want to give credit to the district because I'm really using a district template. And as I've noticed, as I've looked around at some of my colleagues that are running other schools, that they basically have used this similar template and I may have even copied the template from one of them because it was being used. So I want to give shout outs to some schools. I think Vic's got a great plan. I think I've noticed that other schools have really good plans too. And I appreciated this template as a way to kind of map out our plan and our progress. So again, that's just one part of our plan. So let me go to our next slide.
As a whole, that's one of the great things about leveraging digital tools like Google is, that we can all share these kind of documents throughout the district, and there's no reason for schools or administrators or teachers to feel isolated anymore. We're all working on all of this together. So we're able to share those type of documents all across the district.
So the next thing I really wanted to discuss with you is our fifth grade defense plan. We spend a portion of the first half of the year really ensuring that students are uploading quality artifacts and looking at those and making sure it's connecting to their academic success and things like their attendance and things like that. So we started a little bit late. As you can see, I know some schools have already done defenses and they're already well under the way. But our plan is to start March 9th with students practicing their defense presentations. And they have opportunities to do that starting March 9th. So they'll be working on their presentations. Most of them do them in Google Slides, but they vary. They're not limited to that. But as with all things, we realize that students need the opportunity to kind of work on organizing, editing, and improving their plan so that they feel like that they're ready for their defenses. They'll actually practice in front of someone. It could be colleagues, so it could be other students, or it could be teachers to receive feedback starting March 26th. And then we start with our live defense plans on April 6th, and they will continue the remainder of the year until we're finished. And then, like I said, that calendar will be published on the district website so that we can have community leadership as well as district leadership sign up to come see a student defend their readiness to move on to middle school. One of the things that we're doing here this year at Johnsontown Road is we are rotating teachers through, so every teacher at our school will have an opportunity to sit in on a defense panel. So even kindergarten teachers all the way through third will have an opportunity to sit in and listen to a student defend their readiness for middle school.
That's great, Stephen. I think that's so important for teachers. You really don't see, you definitely can see the impact, but it just drives it home when you're able to sit on those defense panels because they are so powerful. And teachers really get a better understanding of how fantastic this work is when they see the student defenses.
It really does. And so one of the things that we will do here at Johnsontown Road is each grade group will have each of their students in their classroom present in some fashion their readiness to move on to the next grade. So it does happen in kindergarten. It can be as brief as a minute, where they connect one or two of their artifacts and their readiness to move on to first grade. In third grade or fourth grade, it looks a little bit more intense, where they might talk a little bit longer. They might not be doing a complete presentation, but they are talking about their artifacts and really why they're ready academically, behaviorally, attendance-wise, and just through their work this year that they're ready to move on to the next grade level. And one of the ways that that's strengthened is through having teachers sit in on our fifth grade defense panels to kind of see that in action. But that is something that we do for all grade levels and is something new that we'll do this year at Johnsontown Road. So at this time, I'd like to bring in one of our fifth grade students. I'm going to bring in Isaiah from Ms. Montgomery's class, and he's going to discuss our fifth grade rubric for defenses and what that looks like, and I'll open that link. So welcome, Isaiah.
Hi, my name is Isaiah Hebert. I am a fifth grade student in Ms. Montgomery's class. I am also on the digital backpack team. Let me tell you about our rubric for fifth grade defenses. First, we are given the rubric to all students so they know in advance what and how the defenses will be scored. First is the presentation. We want students to have an engaging presentation that is a good reflection of their progress related to their success skills. We also don't want it to be too quick, less than 5 minutes, or too long, more than 10 minutes.
Let me stop you for a minute there, Isaiah. Can everyone see the rubric? Is it okay? Is it up there for you guys?
Yeah, it looks good. And Isaiah, we hear you. You're very clear. So you're doing a great job.
Continue, Isaiah.
This might require some practice to ensure you don't go too quick or talk too long. Second, we want students to identify areas of strength related to the success skills. We also want them to connect these strengths to student success data, like reading or math progress. Using MAP, K-Prep, or grades, maybe use school attendance or good behavior data. Third, we want to know what we need to get better at or areas of growth. Students should be able to identify 1 or 2 areas of growth related to success skills and student success data. An example might be under the prepared and resilient learner success skill. My artifact represents my math scores in reading. I did not hit my growth goal or stretch goal, so I am developing a plan to make sure I make better progress in reading the second half of the year. The next area we are looking at is my improvement plan. Get better. You must have a plan and, most importantly, benchmarks on how you are tracking your progress. This ensures your own improvement plan and goals. Lastly, we want students to have a clear voice and engage the audience. Just be clear with what you say and how you say it. This might require some practice. After we present the panel, our panel will give brief comments on what we did well, strengths, and what we could do better, improvement. They turn in their score or overall ratings, and each student gets an individual conference to discuss their performance. We want everyone to get a score of 15 or better. Any questions?
Isaiah, that was super impressive. This looks really comprehensive and thorough. I can't think of any questions that I have off the top of my head. It's just, again, really impressive that you guys are going through that document and using that to help you with creating a better defense. Great job.
So what this looks like, because we looked at these yesterday, so we actually give some models of examples of what we think are exemplars of how students presented their slide presentation and the types of data and the things they included. And because of the way the rubric's laid out and the rubrics given to students in advance, many students set up their presentations as, let me talk about my areas of strength first, and they list success skills, and then they link data related to those success skills and or artifacts. And then the next slide is they talk right beyond their areas of growth, and they identify a couple success skills, and then they connect that to an area for growth related to data. And then their improvement plan, this is where a lot of students sometimes struggle, and we talked about this, is that they might have a plan and they know what they need to get better at, but they need to have some benchmarks set up along the way in terms of how they're going to check in to ensure that they're on track and they're going to meet that. So this tool really helps them with their presentation. We normally have students in 5th grade that'll have at least 1 artifact for every success skill, but they'll identify 3 of them that they're really strong at, and then 2 of them that they want to get better at.
Yeah, that's very thorough. So I'm sure that this goes a long way to making the defenses really, really good at your school.
Excellent job, Isaiah.
Thanks, Isaiah.
So the next student that I'm going to invite in is Trey Newby. Trey is a 5th grade student in Mr. Adams' class, and he's going to talk to you about the work that we're doing on rubrics that students are developing in each grade group so that students can self-assess the quality of those artifacts. So I'll turn it over to Trey at this time.
Hello, my name is Trey Newby, and I'm a 5th grade student in Mr. Adams' class. I am on the digital backpack team. I am working with Isaiah and Irene on the 5th grade rubric for students to assess the quality of their artifacts. While we are not done, the 5th grade rubric will be the most challenging because this is our last year in elementary school before we move on to middle school. We want for each student to have a tool to self-assess, to look at all of the artifacts and determine if they meet the quality protocol using a rubric. This may mean that some students might determine they need to take some artifacts out of their backpack if they are not meeting quality protocol using the rubric, or more importantly, they might need to add something to an artifact to improve it, like say a written reflection connected to a success skill.
So well done, Trey. So when we are looking at these, we had hoped to have them done for this presentation, but they're not done yet. But we view these as really valuable, and we were trying to do them right. And so as we get these done, then we'll eventually publish these and have these available for any school that'd like to use them. But just a way for students to own and be accountable for the quality of the items that are in their backpack. So they're using the links that you see there, the deeper learning look-fors, the backpack-worthy artifacts, the quality work protocol. And then they're also using, and kind of the backpack of success skills broken down into student-friendly language. Because if it's something that students are going to use to self-assess, as Trey said, they need to make sure that they understand it and they understand how to use it when they're looking at their artifacts.
Yeah, that is so key, is to getting that language of the success skills and in the student-friendly language. And that poster that we're seeing on the screen is fantastic. I was going to tell the three of them later on, Trey and Isaiah and Emma, that being a part of this YouTube live show, they are going to hit several success skills right off the bat with being productive collaborators. And obviously, if you're doing a show like this, you're an effective communicator, so they can use the link to the show later on and put that in their backpack as an artifact.
Excellent. We love that, and I think that's something they appreciate doing. So let me at this time bring in Emma, and she's going to talk to you a little bit more about what she's doing with the work related to rubrics for students to assess the quality of their backpack artifacts.
Hello, my name is Emma Stewart, and I'm a 5th grade student in Miss Cureton's class. I am a digital backpack team member. I'm working on the third grade rubric. So the 3rd grade rubric will not be as difficult as the 5th grade, but more difficult than the kindergarten. An example of this is the progression of the rubrics that might be for kindergarten. We're going to use pictures next to the words on the rubric, so our youngest students can check boxes and help assess the quality of their artifacts. Because not all kindergarten students can read everything. So this is why pictures would help some. Math symbols and book symbols for reading, and etc. 3rd grade would be more difficult and probably would not use pictures. Like what Mr. Howard said earlier, what we're trying to accomplish is a way to let students self-assess their work in progress. We have over 4,000 artifacts, and some students have over 10, and some will have over 20 before the end of the year. Rather than have a teacher look at 240 to 500 artifacts for the whole class, we want students to self-assess. This creates more ownership in the quality of the work or artifact related to the success skill. We hope to have these done by the end of January, and we are meeting in teams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during JAG time.
Well said, Emma.
Yeah, that's really great. And Stephen, all three of them, they're on your student backpack team?
They are. We've got about 15 students, maybe 16 on our student digital backpack team. And our first real big undertaking are these rubrics. And they meet in the morning doing what we call JAG intervention time. So these are students that this is part of their enrichment. So these students are proficient learners, but they're digging in and they're working in teams. Most of them are, I think, working in Google Sheets. Is that right, Emma? And they're developing these rubrics, and they're going to look different. So for kindergarten, we need something very simple that are probably more picture related, that those kindergarten students can look when their artifacts are open in their backpack and just use a simple checklist to say, what picture associates with this artifact and doesn't meet a certain quality protocol in terms of, am I addressing all of the things related to the success skill? And then it progressively looks more difficult in each grade. So that's the kind of stuff that they're working on. But, we would like students to do that themselves. And so how that might look is during the instructional day, a teacher might say, at this time, we're going to assess the quality of our backpack artifacts. And they'll pull out the rubric, and every student will have a rubric, and they'll have their Chromebook open, and they'll log into their backpack, and they'll start looking at artifacts. And they might evaluate 3 or 4 artifacts in that time period during that time to see exactly whether or not they're meeting that protocol. And they'll identify if they need to do something more to an artifact, or they need to maybe take an artifact out, or maybe as Trey said, maybe they need to do a written reflection.
Right.
So something like that to make it a little better.
Well, I love the idea that it's the students are driving that work. It's such a great use of the backpack team. Emma, Trey, Isaiah, that's fantastic. It's going to be make a real difference for the students, the other students, and your friends at your school. It's great work, and it's something else that we can take to other schools to say, look, student backpack teams don't just help with the technical side and just uploading artifacts. There are all kinds of opportunities for kids and the student backpack teams to help out.
So at this time, why don't you all 3 come up here to the screen so that people can see you possibly? Is this okay? If I invite all 3 of them up, and are they able to be seen if I move back to this?
Yeah, so Stephen, just click up there where it says stop. You're still screen sharing.
Okay.
There they are. Hey, you all.
Hey.
All right. So this is Emma, and this is Trey, and this is Isaiah. And they are just fabulous Johnsontown Road Jaguars, and they are working along with our student digital backpack team to create these rubrics. But most importantly, they are just students that are really engaged in the learning progress. They just couldn't wait to be here to present today, and so I view them as leaders in our school, along with a lot of other students, but I appreciate them joining me on this show. You guys want to say anything else?
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. We appreciate it. Like I told you guys, anytime we can get students on shows like this, it makes it 100 times better than just having the adults talk back and forth. I really appreciate you all being here and your contribution to all the work at Johnsontown Road. You guys are doing fantastic.
So one of the nice things is the last slide usually on our 5th grade defenses is the middle school that they're going to. And so it's going to be exciting to see the great variety and choices of middle schools that our students select here. And they'll be lucky to get these students that are doing so well. So we look forward to that. I do want to give special recognition to our teachers and staff that lead also our digital backpack team here. So we have Ms. Newby, our counselor that serves on that committee, Mr. Radner, who is our STC and our computer teacher here, our librarian, Ms. Wrightley, and Ms. Scanlon, one of our 2nd grade teachers, and then Mr. Wheatley, also our assistant principal. All those serve on our digital backpack team, so we kind of dig into the work that we're doing and the progress that we're making to ensure we're supporting our students in the right way. So we appreciate the opportunity and the exposure to share what we're doing here at Johnsontown Road.
Well, thank you all. I really appreciate that. Was such a great show. Mr. Howard, Trey, Emma, Isaiah, fantastic work. Thanks you guys for joining us today. To stay connected to JCPS digital learning work, and you can receive on-demand video support by subscribing to our JCPS digital learning channel on YouTube. All you have to do is click on subscribe on our channel. Also, you can follow and contribute to the hashtags JCPS Backpack, We Are JCPS, and JCPS IT3. Be sure to join us for our next show on January 23rd as we go live with Raymond Green, the principal at Central High School, who will be discussing the R&I framework. Again, thank you all. Really appreciate this for being on today. That was a lot of great information that's going to help a lot of schools.
Well, thank you. And if anybody needs anything specific, if they watch this, then reach out to me and I'll be happy to send them anything that we're doing here at Johnsontown Road.
All right. Bye, you all.
Bye.